So one of the technical queries we quite often get here at Berlin is how to identify the type of HIF carburetor that I have. Because there are some subtle differences between the different types. So there's an earlier HIF 6 model, a later HIF 44, and some components aren't cross-compatible between the two different designs. So I'm going to start with the earlier HIF 6. Now on this casting, it's visually identifiable because what you have on the side of the carburetor where the fuel feed is, next to it is the overflow tube on this round pad casting, which is only found on the earlier HIF 6s. The other difference on them is that when you look down at the top to the side, the throttle stop screw will be attached to the lever and it's acting directly onto the pad like a traditional HD or H-type carburetor. On a later HIF 44 though, they changed the position of one of the tubes, so you still have the fuel feed in on the side, but instead of having the overflow next to it, it comes out on an angle to let the float chamber breathe. And then when you look top down on the carb, you also have this additional lug where the mixture screw goes down through to act onto the throttle stop. So that's visual clues between the two. The other one is that most of the HIF 44 castings normally have a casting number like this one, like JZX 1610 or JZX 1611, which are the most common sizes. There is also one other variation, which is the HIF 7. It's a bit of an unusual one because it's visually similar to the earlier HIF 6, in that you have the overflow tube next to the fuel inlet. But you'll notice here on the side there's a difference. So there's this big blank section here, and on the other side, because there's no actual choke spindle fitted to the carburetor, unlike on the HIF 6 or the HIF 44, where they've got the slot for a choke spindle. And that's because the HIF 7's designed to work with an automatic enrichment device. So they're always the same hand, there's no choke spindle, so it's a bit of an oddball. But occasionally people pick these up second hand thinking they can fit them to cars that need a HIF 44, go to try and put the choke on, and it won't actually fit. So always good to keep an eye out for that. But hopefully, just visually seeing the three differences makes it a little bit easier to identify what you actually have. If you're still unsure what type of carb you have, or you need any specific vehicle advice, please give us a call.